Friday. You're getting all your questions answered. I'm answering some of my most common questions for you. This is Gainz O, and I am Ryan Milton. Every single Friday, we're right here, and we're covering the most common questions I get, as well as the ones you guys are sending me, and thank you for doing that. Please make sure you subscribe to the channel. We'll be back every single Friday with this show, keeping it interactive. Send me your questions, and we got tons of other great shows all week happening. So if you get anything out of this, please subscribe and please share it. Let's dig right on in. I'm gonna bring it up with 5 questions that I've got this kind of, over the past week or so. I get so many questions, I forget most of them, to be honest. But any of them I get like more than once. I try to write down. So let's go over 5 questions that I've got. I'm going to answer them for you. And then I'll get to some fan questions, 5 of those. And then we'll be on our fucking way, fam. All right? Tick-tock, tick-tock. Gainz a fucking clock. All right. So first things first. Number 1. Are there any foods that burn fat better than others? And this question, I've got this question probably 20,000 times over the years that I've been a coach. No. The answer is simply no. There are no foods that actually burn fat better than others. There's nothing that contains a fat burner in it or any of this shit. What matters is that you get your calories in the right spot, okay? So you got to have your proteins, your carbs, your fats, your fibers, those 4 things in the right caloric range in order to burn fat. Now, you can do that with any types of foods, fam. If you hit your macros, you hit your calories, you can do that with any types of foods. So that's what matters. There's no special foods. Like, you could eat, I know there's like internet memes and all this garbage about fat-burning foods and whatever, but you could eat those things all damn day. If you eat too much of them, you're going to gain fat, not burn it. So keep that in mind. You got to hit your macros. You got to hit your calories. If you do that, you're going to be good. All right? Question number 2. If I overeat my calories today, should I adjust them for tomorrow? So this comes up from clients and stuff like that of mine that, they're tracking their macros, but they might overeat. Something happens, they ate too much, they tracked something wrong, or maybe they just ended up eating over their macros for the day, and the question comes up, hey, I already did this, so what should I do tomorrow? Should I eat less tomorrow? And here's what I'll tell you. If you fuck up your macros, hey, guess what? You're human. Happens to everybody. Happens to pros that I work with. Happens to people that have done these for 10 years. It's definitely going to happen to people just starting. So if you mess up your macros a little bit, not the end of the world. What you need to do, wake up the next day, get on track with your macros. Don't change anything. Don't try to eat less tomorrow. Don't do any of that. That's going to set you up for another, issue probably. You probably end up going off again if you do that, and in reality we're not being consistent. So what you want to do is, if you messed up one day, no big deal, come back tomorrow, do better, stay on track, stay on track, stay on track. That's it. Do the same stuff you should be doing. Don't change any of the numbers. Just move forward. Move forward, fam. All right, question number 3. I missed a gym day today. Can I make it up on a rest day? Sort of following the same trend as the last one, right? Like, people will miss a day in the gym. Something will come up. You were too busy. You ended up not being able to go. And the question is, can you use a rest day to make it up? And the answer is yes, okay? So what I always tell people is that basically the way that my training programs work, at the very least, and most do, is on a weekly basis. So you got X amount of workouts to do within that week. And as long as you get the workouts done during that week, it's going to be fine, okay? It's not ideal, obviously, to change your rest days and things like that, but if you do it for 1 week and then you're back on track the next, all good. What you really need to do is just make sure you don't miss it all together, okay? Because if you take your training day, you missed one, and now you throw it down the drain, that's going to be an issue. And try to follow the same format, okay? So, at least for me, the way that I structure all my stuff is very methodical, like an upper, lower, kind of like that, like alternating muscle groups to make sure that we're getting maximal training and maximal recovery benefits. So if you're following a plan that's well-structured, follow the same plan. If you're not following a plan that's well-structured, go to TeamFFLEX.com, and we'll get you set up for free on the free trial, okay? Question number 4. What supplements should I be taking in general? So this is a very general question, obviously, not specific at all. Supplements in general, I don't stray off of saying, okay, maybe a multivitamin, maybe a pre-workout if you really want one, and a protein powder. I think in general, that's what most people could utilize. Like, you're going to get the most benefit out of any supplements out of just those few things, okay? And the pre-workout is iffy, right? Because you could always just grab a coffee anyway, but I like pre-workout, so I throw that in there. But the point is, multivitamin is probably the best supplement you can take because that's got all the stuff that you need. It's got everything you would need in there. A lot of them these days come with greens even and stuff. They got digestive enzymes. They got everything you could want. And so with that, you want to make sure that if you're not getting the nutrients elsewhere, or maybe you're dieting and you're not getting as much as you could, that you're supplementing it, and that's fine. You also don't need supplements. And then I say protein powder because basically a lot of people have a hard time eating all the protein that they should actually eat for the protein goal, or they just don't want to, and a shake can be an easy way to get 20, 30 grams down. Simple as that. So, as far as that, that's about what I say. Multi-protein powder, maybe a pre-workout. And other than that, mumbo jumbo. A lot of it's bullshit. Most of it's bullshit. People might say, creatine, what about creatine, right? And well, creatine's great, but you probably get enough of it in your food, so whatever. That's what I say in general. Every case is different. Question number 5, and then we'll roll into the fan questions. Can you train at home and still get good results? The answer would be absolutely yes. It all comes down to the program you follow, okay? And with that, you don't need to be in a gym. You need to know what your goal is, and you need to have a program that's going to get you there, okay? If you're not following a program, doesn't matter where you're going, gym or home, you're not going to get results, okay? You got to be on a program. So can you do a program that works for home? Yeah, you for sure can. You can do body weight exercise, and that's going to be great for a lot of people. Most people used to train with just body weight back, not that long ago. Like 40, 50, 60 years ago, that was what most people did. Weightlifting was a little bit more taboo back in those days, and so that was what a lot of people did. And then you can also get dumbbells at your house and do just about every damn exercise in the world efficiently. You could get kettlebells. You could get weight machines if you got the money to do it and the space to put it. Yeah, you can for sure train at home. The short answer is yes, you can, and you absolutely should. If you can't get to the gym and things like that, and you're deciding like, should I go to the gym or should I just not ever train and work out? Just do it at home then. Just work out at home. You can do a ton with body weight. You can spend like $50 on some dumbbells, and you're gonna be set to go. Okay, so definitely worth it. Definitely don't put off getting your fitness goals because you're not going to a gym. All right, fam, we're rolling to fan questions now. This is Gainz O'Clock. I'm Ryan Milton. Thanks for watching. Please share it if you get anything out of it. All right, question number 1 is from Amber. Do I need specific genetics to compete? Amber, the answer is no. I would say no. Okay, genetics obviously play a role in everything anybody does ever to a degree. And a lot of athletes and people that do well in any sports sometimes have better genetics. But does that mean you need them to compete? No, absolutely not. Because in reality, I've trained so many people that you would have looked at and said, there's no way that person could ever compete. And then after doing the right stuff, the right training, the right nutrition, the right prep, they win their damn show. And so in reality, genetics can make it easier for some people, but it doesn't mean people that don't have the genetics for it, the predisposition to genetics, can't go do it. Anybody, I'm a firm believer, anybody can do anything they set their mind to if they do the work from wherever to wherever they want to be, and that's just reality to me. So absolutely don't hold yourself back because of your genetics, and if you're serious about training for a comp, TeamFFLEX.com will get you set up, free trial. Question number 2. This guy, Michael, right here says, I've never competed before, where do I start? You start with getting yourself a coach, Michael. That's what I say. You got to know what you're going to compete in. Maybe you already know that. That'd obviously be the first step. Do you want to do men's physique? You want to do classic physique? You want to do bodybuilding? What are you trying to do? And then, getting a coach, getting a plan, getting on the groove, getting the action. And the reason I say get a coach is because these days it's very difficult to compete without one. It is, some people do self-coach, but they generally have a ton of knowledge. Like they have, a background in training for years, or like certifications, or college degrees and stuff, in training and medical and whatnot. Because in reality, it's very hard to do this stuff now and know how to do it right with all the riff-raff information, all the bullshit out there. And the quality of competitors is very high. And a lot of times people don't know what division's even best for them. That's why I didn't jump right to you. You got to make sure you figure out your division, is because you might need to ask your coach to help You figure out what's going to work best for your structure and for your physique, and where you're going to perform your best, in other words, and do your best. And so, with that, I say get a coach, get on track, get a program, get a nutrition plan, have your coach monitor, adapt it, get your posing going, get all that going, get a prep on. A coach can guide you straight through a lot of this stuff and save you so much time. So that's definitely what I suggest, Michael. Question number 3. My coach wants me, this was a lot of competition stuff this week, by the way, fam, so I appreciate it. Happy to answer these. My coach wants me to deplete water during peak week. I know this is bad based on some of your content. What should I do? This is from Ashley. Ashley, well, for one, you're obviously already training with a coach. You already got this going. You got to talk to your coach, okay? You got to bring this up to your coach. If you're concerned about what your coach is wanting you to do, or, your peak week setup, or any part of your training experience, basically, you got to bring it up. You got to voice it, and you got to tell them, hey, you know what? I don't know about this. I don't know if I want to do this. It's not what I'm looking like. I don't feel like I want to do that based on stuff that I've learned, etc. And then, hopefully, they're going to understand and give you a different plan. Modify your plan, make you not do the water depletion or something like that. If they're not, you might want to look at a different coach. And I know it's your peak week and all that, but don't do stuff in your peak week that's going to, bother you in the long term of life. Because in reality, a lot of the stuff a lot of coaches do for peak week can severely affect you for like 6 to 18 months. I mean, people, I don't want to get dramatic, but people have died doing peak week practices and developed permanent organ issues and things like that if they didn't. So in reality, you don't want to gamble with this stuff. You got to make sure you have somebody that knows what they're doing. And if they're a good coach, they're going to reciprocate anything you tell them, and they're going to adjust and make it fit for you. That's what I would do. That's what I suggest. You find someone that, can do that. Hopefully that's who you got right now. Somebody can do that for you. All right. Definitely don't do anything that you don't feel comfortable doing ever, any part of your training experience. Question number 4, 2 more to go, fam. How much cardio should someone do on a prep? This is from Jessica. Jessica, basically the cardio on a prep depends on your current condition of your physique and the class you're trying to fit into. Okay, you got to know what division you're trying to compete in, what level of conditioning is required for that division, and then also look at where you're at in the timeline to where your comp is, and make sure that you're going to be in that right spot by the time that comes up. And so with that, you got to know what they're looking for. You got to know what the judges want to see in your division. You got to know where you're at and be honest with yourself and know where you're going. Again, this is something that should be done by a coach. But maybe you're asking this because your coach has you doing crazy cardio or something like that. So, I'll give you a generic sense. I'll tell you what I do at least. I don't have people do a ton of cardio if they don't need it. So my first thing is always the training and the nutrition. Then we add in cardio as needed for that person to get them ready, get them where they need to be. I've trained people that did no cardio on prep. I've trained people that had to do up to an hour a day. And it just depends on the person. It depends on where you're at. It depends on where you're going to go. It depends on when your show is and where your current physique is and what division. So it's very much more complicated. If you go to my website, TeamFFLEX.com, and subscribe to our mailing list, I can tell you a little bit more because we can see, a little more customized to you what you would do on our free trial. All right. So question number 5, and then we're rolling, fam. We're done. This is from Angela. What can I do if I don't have time to meal prep? This is actually a great question because I could have thrown this up in the top ones even up here because people have been asking me this. If you don't have time to meal prep, okay, I would say you gotta figure out where you're wasting your time because everybody has time to meal prep. Like, I don't know who you are if you literally don't have time to do whatever. You might be just spending your time doing other things. So look at your actual lifestyle. Look at what you're doing. Are you spending 2-3 hours a night watching some Netflix late when you could be prepping up, or even 2 to 3 hours a week? You could save up and do the meal prep. You know what I'm saying? So that's one thing. Another thing is you could just track macros like I tell people to do. But if you're talking about time, my idea of what you would say would be that I don't have time to track either. And that's why you meal prep. That's why a lot of people want to meal prep. So if that's the case, you might be tracking wrong. You probably need a little help with your tracking. But also, here's the last one, right? You could get somebody to prep your meals for you. There's meal prep services all around the country now. MegaFit Meals is one of the ones that I use. And I'm actually, an ambassador on with them. And they ship all around the world. There's a lot of these that do it. There's local ones in most people's towns. I know I got a ton in my town, Las Vegas, right here, where, there's a ton of these different places. But basically, you can just order meals, and they'll get shipped to your house, and then they're frozen, and then you heat them up, and you're good to go. So, in reality, there's no excuses. There's no way to get around it. You could either find more time, you could figure out where you're wasting your time, or, last resort, front up some cash then. If you don't got time, You're going to have money, because time is money. And if you don't got it, that, you know, then that's what you got to do. So figure out what's going to work for you. Prep your meals. Find more time to do that, or just order them. It's easier to do it. I tell you straight up, because I'm pretty busy sometimes. I'm on the road all the time doing stuff like that. And meal prep is easier if you order it, because it just shows up at your house. And they're good. They're easy. You didn't have to cook it. And you heat it up and you're good. Costs a little bit more, but you gotta do what it takes to get results, right? You gotta do what it takes to get your goals, all right? So that's it, fam. I just want to do a couple questions today. 5 mine, 5 of the audience, and you know, keep these things coming at me. I do this show just to add value. Hopefully this added some value for all you watching. You learn something from some of the questions these people ask and things like that, and you know, you can utilize that. So we'll be back every single Friday. This is Ryan Milton. This is Gainz O. Please subscribe, please share. Coach Rye is out.